Hello out there, faithful subscribers, and those of you new to the Dependent Agent. My name is Christy Gessler. I am your host, and I am here to talk to you today from the Freedom Ranch out in Liberty Hill, Texas. I want to talk to you today about perseverance. Perseverance in a pandemic. I have been going through a very twisted arrow, lots of curves and angles and bends and sharp turns over the last few weeks that I thought I'd share with you a little bit about. And then I wanted to share with you a little bit of advice in a way that I'm persevering, I think, to move myself and my career forward through this challenging time. So, when this whole quarantine time began back, in early March for me, really, I was looking back at my calendar. I officially, with my boyfriend Brian, started self-quarantining back around March 13th or 14th is when we really hunkered down and kind of just retreated to the ranch. And that's a long time now. Fast forwarding to today, May 11th, it's a lot of time. So initially it was fun and it felt safe, and I loved having a fence line far away from anybody that might try to get close, and that felt good for a while. Some distance and separation, and all the reports of letting the earth breathe. I felt like I was breathing. That was nice. But now that I'm trying to re-engage again back into the career and the brokerage, it's been a challenge. And the Zoom calls and all of the various ways that we're connecting digitally with friends and family and colleagues, on one hand, has been invigorating and has been remarkably enlightening and collaborative. And I have engaged with people through some of these Zoom meetings, especially with Texas Realtors, that I never would have gotten to meet and collaborate with. And for that, I'm grateful. People from all over the country. I've taken screenshots of who they were and collaborated and reached out on Facebook since then. And I want to continue to do that on dependentagent.com. So if you were on any of those Zoom calls with me and you remember meeting me on those calls, this is me. Go ahead and connect, subscribe, like, and follow the Dependent Agent. But that's been a really, really wonderful, eye-opening blessing and helped me put some names and faces together and learn a lot. That's been really, really great. But I talked earlier about my feelings on what Zoom can kind of allow you to do as well. It allows you to create a pretty interesting cloak of yourself. It allows you to present yourself in many different ways. It allows you to present yourself with various backgrounds and superimposed images, and to have fun and be goofy and silly and to joke about what's in your Yeti and to make fun of you know being goofy, but also being secretive at the same time. And I have to admit, I have been on some Zoom calls and I have been very embarrassed or felt awkward because I know someone is putting on a false front of some kind, and it's comical. And I just sit there and I'm laughing, and it just, I mean, my emotions are all over my face on a Zoom call. I can't hide it. I can't contain it. But it's just as funny to watch all of those Brady Bunch squares and see everything going on. But it's allowing people to have these false personas get set up almost exponentially from where it was on Facebook, because these Zoom calls have given people this new avenue of connection and livelihood, lifeblood, importance, value, and I don't know that it's I just don't know that it's got any longevity. Let's put it that way. I think it has its place in the pandemic, but I don't think it has any longevity. Um, the Zoom parodies and all of the various parodies and skits are so funny, but it's true, and it's just not gonna last. So I worry about some of the personas that people think they're creating on Zoom. Um, so here's where my arrow goes crooked again. And this is in the re-engaging after Zoom. So we're doing all these Zoom connections, we're collaborating, we're doing all this great stuff. And then lo and behold, uh, this now you're allowed to reconnect comes up. And so now, do I get close? Do I not? What do I do? You see, for me, when I was a dependent agent in the throes of addiction, I would have thrived on the 6 foot rule. I would have thrived on wearing a face mask everywhere I went. Think about it. If you're hiding an addiction and you have been quarantined for weeks and now you're going out in the world and you're allowed to conceal yourself, yet get out and re-engage with people, do you see the destructiveness that can have? I just sit here and say, oh my goodness, if this were me back then, oh, I would, it would be bad. And so I just hope, and I have apprehension and anxiety when I go out in public. I'm managing that through understanding my limits and understanding how I can and can't wear a face mask in terms of my kind of claustrophobia, just getting used to how it works. And I'm just letting myself have grace on easing back into that. But I'm also just flashing back to these times when, gosh, that would have just been a godsend to be able to conceal myself. I don't want to conceal myself anymore. I did that. I don't want to wear a mask. By God, I want to be open and see my smiling face, and I want to show my glow, and I want to show that I've come out of the addiction in such a better place that I don't want to wear a mask and hide it. So I hope we get past this so quickly so that we don't have to do it. Um, I was celebrating some special milestones and Mother's Day in San Antonio this past weekend, and staying at the wonderful Hotel Emma. It was just incredible. But we were practicing all safe social distancing and interacting beautifully with people. But man, it was awkward still. And I just look forward to being back in those environments and being able to be sociable and not have the mask barrier. So I told you I would end with a perseverance on how to kind of how I'm turning a lot of this into a positive, and that has been for me a focus on real estate education, continuing to grow my real estate knowledge. I've gotten additional designations, I've taken additional trainings, I've been in additional seminars and engaged in different kinds of work groups that I have never done before, and I have really expanded my knowledge in so many areas in real estate. I know it's going to help me in becoming a better instructor every day. It's definitely going to help me become a better broker every day. And it's really helping me become such a better professional. So if you're feeling a little lost and you're like me, your arrows are kind of all over the place. It's like, yes, I have an arrow, but it's a squirrel in traffic right now. If you're feeling the same way, pull yourself up and throw yourself into some education and go get some of that. Collaborate, make fun of some Zoom meetings for a little while, but stay positive, but stay educated and give yourself a focus and a purpose. And for me, it's really made all the difference. So thank you again. Thanks for the grace in listening, and keep persevering. That arrow's crooked, but it's okay. So join me on thedependentagent.com and on Facebook, Instagram, and on my YouTube channel, and reach out to me and connect on how you're persevering and what you have done to kind of raise yourself up with your bootstraps, and how you're engaging and trying to find focus through your recovery, and the ways you're managing and maybe hoping to try to learn how to manage a needed recovery. Reach out to me and let's get a dialogue going about that. If you'd like to come on the air and talk about it with me, I'm also open to that as well. I'd love to have you as a guest. So give me a holler again, Christy Gessler, the dependent agent.